D'accord. Salut tout le monde. Hi everyone. Aujourd'hui, on continue avec notre classe. Today we are going to be continuing with our class. On commence avec les sons français aujourd'hui. So today, most likely, we will start with the French sounds today. Mais aujourd'hui, bienvenue à cette classe. Welcome to this class. Si vous êtes étudiant ici, il faut noter votre nom et aussi votre location. If you are a student in class right now, it's important for you to note or to inform us of your name and your location. D'accord? Moi, je suis Monsieur Aziz au Canada. So my name is Mr. Aziz. Right now in Canada. D'accord? Maintenant, je vais parler lentement. Aujourd'hui, I'm going to be speaking slowly pour améliorer votre compétence en français, to assist you to improve your competence in French language. Et à part de cela, and apart from that, on va utiliser notre site web. We are going to be making use of our website, notre école d'apprentissage de la langue française. We'll be making use of our online French language school website qui s'appelle ftc.aosacademy.com. And that is actually said to be ftc.aosacademy.com. D'accord? Maintenant, on va commencer par signer sur mon compte. So I'm going to start by actually going into my account, ou bien le compte d'étudiant ici aujourd'hui. So let's go on the account of a student today. D'accord. Maintenant, si vous voyez bien mon écran, dites-moi if you can actually see very well my screen. If my screen is very well legible, inform me, let me know. Au contraire, si ce n'est pas visible, dites-moi aussi. And if it is not visible, let me know as well. D'accord. On a déjà fait le cours introduction pour le FTC. We have already done the FTC introductory course, right? On a déjà complété tous les courses. We have already completed the course. Maintenant, on commence avec le cours de débutant à niveau d'expert pour FTC. We started with the FTC beginner to expert course. And on a cliqué sur commencer le leçon de la dernière fois, n'est-ce pas? And we clicked on start lesson in the last class. C'est la même chose on va faire aujourd'hui. We are going to be doing the same thing today, mais on va faire une autre leçon. We are going to be taking another lesson today. Ce leçon va être dans le module 1. This module is going to be in the what? In the module 1, what? In the module 1 program. D'accord? Pour commencer, la dernière classe, on a traité comment de commencer l'apprentissage de la langue française au début. For the previous class, we started with how to start learning French from the scratch. You understand? The last class. Mais dans cette classe, on va commencer avec comment d'établir votre vie pour la culture française. So, but in this class, we are going to be taking how do you set up your own life for the French culture. Parce que beaucoup d'étudiants demandent la question, Comment je peux parler la langue française? Comment je peux prononcer comme les Français? Many students would always ask, how can I speak French? How can I, you understand, pronounce the French words like the French speakers themselves? Ça, c'est la raison. On va commencer avec comment d'établir votre vie pour la culture française. And that's the reason why we'll start with this um, lesson today. How to actually set up your life for the what? For the French culture. Alors, um, avec la même manière, with the same way, avec la même manière on traite la dernière fois, just like the same way we treated the lesson the last time, je vais, um, je vais jouer le dieu. I'm going to play the audio et il faut entendre bien. Il faut entendre bien le dieu. And it's very important you listen to the audio et écoutez bien. Listen very well. Hear the audio and listen well to the audio. Listen well to the what? To the lesson. D'accord? Maintenant, je vais jouer le dieu pour how to set up your life for French culture. Comment d'établir votre vie pour la culture française. D'accord, on commence. So, let's start right now.
Bonjour tout le monde. Good day, everyone, and welcome to the last lesson of the Module 1 Language Planning. And the title of this lesson is How to Set Up Your Life for French Culture. You could have been hearing me say that when you are learning a language, you need to do some extra activities, not just being in the class and taking lessons on the French language. We are going to buttress on that point in this lesson and also be giving you some tips, some values, and giving you some how to techniques on how to actually benefit a great deal from not just learning the language but also involving yourself in the culture of the French people. Now, that begs for the question, what is really the big deal about culture and language? Now, to really unlock language, to understand it at its roots, understanding culture is key. And that's a quote by Brian Oster. What does that mean? That means that culture and language are intertwined. But the funny thing about it is, culture is not limited to language. Do you understand? Culture involves other components of the way of life of people. Like, take for instance, the food, the art, the mythology, beliefs of people, values, and etiquettes. So, French is a privileged access to culture because French is the international language of theater, the visual arts, dance, architecture, haute cuisine, and fashion. And knowing French gives you direct access to the great literature, films, and songs of French and Francophone culture. In other words, you learning the French language would allow you to be able to know much more than just the language itself. You understand? It would open your horizon to the ways people actually make use of language when they are talking about their beliefs, when they're talking about their values, when they're actually having fun, entertainment like cuisines, enjoying themselves in terms of fashion, in terms of food, theater, visual, and couple of them. Now, the first thing we need to ask ourselves is, what is culture? What is culture? Now, wherever one comes from, culture consists of beliefs and values learned through the socialization process as well as material artifacts. Now, what do we mean by that? That means when we're talking about culture, people, one of the colloquial way of defining it is that culture is a way of life. Do you understand? But when we go down into understanding what that way of life is, we're going to be talking about the culture in terms of the beliefs of people, what people believe in their religion, their value systems. Do you understand? And all other things that revolve around them in terms of the way they live their life. You understand? In other words, culture is the learned set of beliefs, values, norms, and material goods shared by group members. Do you understand? So, culture consists of everything we learn in groups during the life course from infancy to an old age. Do you understand? So, take for instance, if you are an English person or a Yoruba person, for instance, what you learn about the Yoruba culture or the English culture right from when you were from child down to how you are now as an adult all encompasses the culture of that people, the culture of that language. Do you understand? So the question to ask now is, how do I learn the French culture? We know one way or the other now that learning the French culture is quite expedient, it's quite important than just learning the language alone. Do you understand? And funny enough, you can't do without learning the culture if you are learning the language. So, how exactly are you now going to inculcate the learning of the French culture in your French language? Well, I would respond to that by saying it in a simple term: set up your life for the French culture. And how will you go about that? You need to ask yourself some further questions. What is your life made of? What is your life made up of? When I ask that, what I mean is that, which relationship do you have around you? You understand? Your family, your friends, your colleagues. You understand? And to know this, you need to ask yourself further questions like, where do I go rather often, or where am I planning to go? If, for instance, you are in your work setting and you want to take an excursion or a travel, or you want to take a vacation, you need to actually be, if you want to learn the French language well, you need to plan how you are going to make use of that vacation to benefit your French learning. In other words, learning the culture of that language. You need to ask yourself other questions like, what do I do always, or even plan on doing? Do you understand? What do you do always? Do you like skiing, or do you like listening to music? Is it going to be something that you can actually inculcate French music into your lifestyle? Do you understand? What do I possess? What do you have? You understand, in terms of, maybe for instance, your gadgets, your phone, your laptop. Can you actually set up your laptop in such a way that it is going to be teaching you the French language, you understand, unconsciously? Now, when do you do what you do? Take for instance, you want to go on a tour, for instance. Which times of the year do you always go for the tour? Do you understand? Or are you planning to go for the tour? If it is a time whereby there's festivities around, you understand, maybe like Christmas, like New Year, is it somewhere? Is it possible for you to go to French tourist centers where you can meet French people and actually converse with them, make friends with them, while you actually keep on learning the language and the culture of that people? Now, for me, my life is made up of my house, firstly, and most people would have their house as part of it. My kitchen, I'm talking about things or places in my house now: my kitchen, my bedroom, my bathroom, and many other places in my house. Now, apart from that, my office where I get to work, the mosque where I go to pray, my library where I read my books, my phone, you understand, in terms of my gadgets, my laptop, and my leisure hour, and so on. Now, you would also do something like this based on the things that you have in your house. You understand, things that you have in your life. Now, you are going to answer some of these questions in the exercise that we are going to give you, and this would help you to be able to actually know what exactly you are going to adapt, you understand, in your life for the French learning culture. Now, what we are going to do now is that we are going to give you some 13 ways to learn the French culture. And I really want you to take this serious because we are taking time to plan our French learning. It's not that we are using this time or we are whiling away this time. I want you to understand that it is actually important. And if it's not important, it won't be the first module or the first lessons you are going to be taking in the French for TEF Canada exam. It's quite important because if you miss it from here, seriously speaking, your French learning will be much more difficult than you presume it to be. So please, the first one I put here because of what I have actually done and I've seen work is become sticky. become sticky. What does this mean? This is the very task, as I said, that I did in leaving the French language, because I wasn't just learning the French language, I was living, and that's where I want you to get into now. I want you to live in the language. Do you understand? You can't live in the language until you have actually adapted that language to your own culture, to your way of life, that you can't do anything again than just to do it in the French way. So, and the first one, as I said, is that I was to write on sticky notes the names of all appliances in my house and use the sticky notes to represent them in French. Do you understand? Now, I wrote the French names and English meanings on the sticky notes and placed on every wall, every appliance, every gadget, and things in my house. That's the very first thing I did while I started learning French, and it helped me a great deal because I knew what the meaning of chair was in French. I knew table, I knew even wire, I need sockets, plugs, things like that. Everything that are in my house, I labeled them. So the next task that you are going to do in your exercise is to actually get sticky notes and label everything you have in your house. Do you understand? Every single thing you can think of. How are you going to do that? I've actually created a, not exhaustive, it's not exhaustive though, but I've created a list of things that I know most of people are going to have in their homes. So you would be able to download it in the exercise section and use it in your exercise assignment. But please, apart from that, you can also get dictionary. You can get a dictionary, and you need not even buy one if you are on a budget. You can just download on your phone or on your pad or laptop, and also be looking at some of those words and writing the meanings down. Do you understand? This would really help you a great deal to, first of all, know some of the words that are quite important for the TEF Canada examination. Do you understand? Because the house, the building, the apartment you live in is one of the very first group of words that you would get to see in your TEF Canada examination. Do you understand? So please don't take this for levity. Please do this assignment. Do you understand? We are going to be taking the assignment in the next section. Now, the next thing is listen to local radio and music. Now, the thing about music is that it tells of the story of the character, the history, and beliefs of the French people. So you need to be able to turn your phone and your car to a cultural learning platform. You understand? You need to utilize the home theater in your house to study the French culture. And how are you going to do that? You have to make sure that you colonize your learning atmosphere with the melodies of the French orchestra, the hymns and songs. How are you going to get some of the songs? We have actually brought out some easy to follow songs. We have listed out some songs that we are going to be um, uploading and giving you access to from from week to week basis. Do you understand? And this will really help you a great deal. But apart from that, one of the things I do advise people to do is that get a radio. You understand? I mean radio that actually can access the foreign radio stations, not the FM radios. I mean the AM radios, the one that can actually get the frequency of foreign radio stations. Do you understand? French stations like RFE, you understand? Radio France Internationale is a very, very good radio station that you can listen to very early in the morning or late in the night to hear how exactly the French people are speaking. You understand? If you have decoders at home, maybe like DSTV, you can also watch TV 5 Monde. You understand? TV 5 Monde. Or you can watch CGTV français or Canal Plus or Info Sport, France 24, puis oui, Plus, and all other stations, all other channels that are on DSTV. If you don't have DSTV, if you have HITV, you can also watch it on it, or even the Canal Plus decoder. It's also they are also on those platforms too. Now, please, the next thing is try French cuisines. Now, all these are ways by which you can actually learn the French culture, but it's not compulsory you do everything. It will be beneficial if you can do most of them. but I want you to be able to pick out of them the ones that you would find fulfilling, the ones that would actually drive you, that would motivate you to learn more of the French language. Like me, take for instance, I like food. So French cuisines is one of the things I started with, especially while I was in Benin Republic. You understand? Calavi to be precise. I ate a lot of their dishes. I asked the names of those dishes. So it's something that once you want to learn the culture of the French people, you can also experience it through their French cuisines. You understand? The native cuisines. Now, if you are around the French people, you can look out for ethnic French restaurants and make orders. You understand? It's not compulsory you spend a lot. You can just even get their menu, converse with the person. You understand? With the person that is going to be taking your orders there, and it would help improve your French learning. This will make you learn about the French eating etiquette while learning the French language simultaneously. A lot of people don't know this. In the Yoruba culture, I see that talking while you are eating is a kind of way whereby you are showing disrespect, or maybe whereby you are not being, you understand, courteous, or you are not following the eating etiquette in the Yoruba land. But the opposite is the case in the French culture. The more you actually talk while you are eating, the more they presume that you are actually enjoying that food. Do you understand? So you can choose to also browse out the French recipes online if perhaps you are a female, and even make some of them for your family at home while learning the language is one way to also engage in what in the French language culture. Now another thing is that you can visit French museums. French museums like the ones that are in French countries, if perhaps you're in French countries, or even browse out some of the French museums online. Do you get it? The role of historical visitation cannot be overemphasized. You understand? It helps you study the history of the people while even exploring their cultural works of art and aesthetics. You understand? A lot of sculptures, a lot of designs, a lot of artworks that have been done. Once you are looking at them and even getting to learn words through them, you will realize that you are learning the culture, the history behind those artworks, and also learning more about how the French people survived in times. Now, museums are one of the cultural centers you can visit for this. Nowadays, other cultural centers may include organizations, buildings, or complexes that promote culture and art. You understand? These centers can be neighborhood communities, arts organizations, private facilities, government sponsored, or even activist run. Do you understand? The idea is just get into visiting some of them. You understand? You can browse out some, as I've said, online as well. Now, another thing is get festive for the holidays. What does this mean? This means that you can make it a point of duty to take time off work during festive seasons and holidays to visit French tourist sites. You understand? It will also help you learn the French language. This helps you learn a great deal of the language from native speakers themselves who are visiting those areas like you to mingle with people. You understand? So you can even get to make friends through that process who might end up taking you through the language learning process. Do you understand? I do always say you don't really need to travel to French speaking countries before you can learn French. However, it is another way by which you can benefit from an array of communication. You understand? Once you are very close to the French people, the people that speak the French language. Now, another thing is you can read French newspapers. Lots of what happens on a daily, weekly, and even monthly basis in French countries amongst the French people in their communities are written and documented in newspapers, journals, and other reference materials. So when you read them, you learn the French language and the culture of the people simultaneously. Do you get it? You need to get in tune with their entertainment, with their trends, their politics, their fashion, economics, among all other aspects of their culture. All these are always talked about on a frequent basis in their newspapers, in their journal, because they can't do without it. People would always advertise, people would always talk about things like that because it is what is actually happening on a day-to-day activity, on a day-to-day basis. Now, another thing is that you can follow French social media platforms. Do you get it? Simply following French influencers, celebrities, organizations, and all other people who speak and use the language will help you learn more. Do you understand? Social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, among others, have lots of French people who are always open to helping you in your French language learning process. You understand? Some of the Instagram accounts I follow, for instance, are Charles Aznavour. You understand? He's a French musician. I listen to a lot of his music. Sherifa Luna, also a French musician. Lara Fabian, also a French musician, a female French musician. These are wonderful people that I also learned the French from through their music. Some of their music, which I'm going to even be sharing with you, are subtitled in English. Some of them you will see the transliteration of the French pronunciation of the words. So once you are saying it, you'll be able to learn further. You understand? Learning is not just what you do in the classroom. As I do say it, is not what you do in the, is not always what you do in the classroom. You learn much more outside the classroom once you are making use of the language and conversing with people and communicating with all others on the web. Now, another thing is you can enter a mutual cultural heritage. I mean, exchange rather. What does that mean? That means you can boost your French learning process by joining a French cultural society or program that encourages you to practice the language, because there will be no benefit if you join a society that doesn't encourage you. You understand? You have to join societies. For instance, while I was in the French language village Badagry, we were even updated, we were mandated to join the French language students of Nigeria. You understand, the association. But I realized that it was an avenue for us to also speak the French language while we were there, because a lot of them were the francophones. Some of them were anglophones also, but people who are already speaking the language and even trying to, you understand, improve themselves. So you could join associations like that that could help you benefit from the French culture. You understand? French schools, institutes, and centers around you have some free community programs and society that you can be part of. You understand? Your participation in them can be in terms of volunteerism. You can volunteer for a particular post or program that they're doing. Sponsor it if you have funds, or you can even join religious activities in the churches or mosques around you that are more of the French people. You understand? There are more of the French speaking people. Now, another thing is look up YouTube videos. Now, one of the things that I do emphasize is because we are learning online, and there are really, really, really a lot of things you could learn online. In setting up your life for French, if you can't use YouTube judiciously to improve on your French learning, it can be difficult for you to learn online, because there are tons of useful videos you can use freely without paying a dime to improve your French. You understand? Our channel, for instance, A.O.S Academy, is also a place whereby you can get a lot of French videos. You can watch. They are free. They are free. You don't pay for them. You understand? Even on other YouTube channels. You can also, as time goes on, we are going to be sharing some of the things, some of the places whereby you can learn French from. Do you understand? A lot of newspapers, journals, even online websites have their YouTube channels now that you could always go to, listen to the news, and also learn a whole lot of things from their French available free online courses. But please be careful with the type of content you digest, because it is not all content that are very, very important. It is not all content that would actually help you. Some would mislead you. You understand? And that's why you need to be clear about what you want and how to go in search of them. We are still going to be explaining to you how exactly you should look for materials that would be of benefit to you. There are a lot of materials we are going to be giving out, especially when we are done with this module up onto the next module. The next module is going to really be um, a is going to be a really detailed one. So I want you to please be prepared for it. Do you understand? Be prepared for it. So please, we are going to be sharing some materials, but we will also be telling you how exactly to go about searching for all other materials online also. Now, you can also visit the library. Is one way you can learn the culture of the French people. Not all libraries are equipped with language books, especially in local areas and communities. But you can still get travel books, guides, novels, be it fiction or non-fiction, at national or school libraries. I know of university libraries. There are a lot of universities now, state owned, government owned, that always have libraries that you can always um consult for books. Do you understand? And they have some of them even borrow books out. Normally, libraries are meant to borrow, but funny enough, there are some libraries that don't borrow based on, I think, experiences. However, now you can borrow, you can print out, you can photocopy from some of those libraries if you are not permitted to borrow. Now, you can also ask for recommendations at those libraries. There are going to be librarians over there, so you can ask for recommendations, especially if you feel that that librarian knows the French language, or he has always been in the business of giving people recommendations for the books to read. Or you can even search online for famous books on e-library over the internet. There are a lot of famous books that once you talk about them, or once you say you want to learn French, people recommend it to you that, oh, please read this. So as a result of that, Kunta Kinte, for instance, which is a book, a novel, and also a film, is one of the things that they recommended for us in the French language village. It's something that you can also, it would help you learn the history of the French people. You understand history of civilization, history of how the French people were colonized. Do you understand? The Francophone rather were colonized, and also help boost your French language learning process in the process, your French language learning in the process. Now, another thing is that you can join cultural rituals. What do we mean by this? If you participate in French celebrations like birthdays, marriage, anniversary, naming, valedictory, and all other celebrations, you would learn some indelible vocabularies in the process while making some important contact with people. So you can look for events around you, especially events whereby there are bilingual people, multilingual people. You understand? Such events can also open your eyes into cultural norms and syncrasies of French and Francophone people. A lot of people, even though they are Francophones, have their own way of life. So you can learn from a vast majority of people while trying to participate in their celebrations. Now, another thing is you need to familiarize yourself with material symbols. What does this mean? Every ethnic group and tribe has its own materials that are used to identify them and their culture. Take, for instance, the Yoruba, they have what we call the Asho Oke. You understand, the native attire. But you can get familiar with various, mostly surplus cultural items. You understand? Know their names, what they are used for. You understand? And if possible, little stories behind their existence. It will help you learn the language more. The French people are known for lots of things, among which are wines, you understand, clothing, and so on. So, thus, learning their words relating to those cultural symbols will aid your French learning. You understand? It will aid your French learning. Take, for instance, the Tour Eiffel, the Tour Eiffel in France is one place a lot of people go. It's a very good architectural design that people use to recognize the France and the Parisian people. So if you familiarize yourself with symbols, you understand cultural materials like that, cultural edifices like that, there's no how you would learn the language. You understand? You will learn the words relating to those materials, those symbols of the people. Now, another thing is, which is going to be the last thing, is observe without judgment. You can't go far in your French language learning if you are judging people. As the famous quote says, the highest form of human intelligence is to observe yourself without judgment. Do you understand? Don't judge the French people. You understand? Don't overreact once you see that one thing that is being done in their culture is so much different, or it counters what you know in your own culture. You cannot possibly influence someone if you are judging them. Likewise, you cannot learn French language from someone who you are constantly judging. You can ask questions, apologize when you offend them, but never compromise your safety. You understand? If, for instance, you want to travel, you want to go to events, you want to enjoy yourself, have fun, celebrate, then don't compromise on your safety. Don't say because you are trying to learn language, you are now going to go to a place where you don't know, or go to a place where you won't feel safe. Please don't do that. Please and please be highly intelligent by observing the French and Francophone people, be it offline or online. Grow fond of them, you understand? Love them, appreciate their culture, and finally attempt to learn their language while you are appreciating their culture. Now, please, there are 40 word groups in the TEF listening skills that I want us to work on. These groups of words relating to the French are relating to the French culture and language, and they are mostly used in the TEF Canada examination. Do you understand? Now, I'm going to list out all these words, and at the end of it, we are going to be giving you not just those words, but we are going to be breaking down these words in terms of audios. Do you understand? We are going to be releasing audios as a result of these words, these groups of words. You understand? These audios are going to be what you can listen to at your leisure time. You can listen to them while you are going to work. You can put them on your phone. You can put them in your radio. You understand, or in your MP3 player on your in your car, and listen to it anytime you are going. Please, the idea is just turn your gadgets to your learning platforms. You understand? Your phones, your cars can help you learn French. That's the idea behind this. So I'm going to be taking these words one by one. As you could see, the French words are at the left hand side, and the um, meanings in English are in the right hand side. Please be saying these words after me. We are still going to be doing a lot of the sound description and differentiation in our next module, but just use this to prepare yourself for what is coming next. Now, the first one I will begin with is the one by my far right, and the number one. Number one, les vêtements. Répétez,
Les
répétez.
vêtements.
Les vêtements. Les
Les
vêtements
vêtements.
means clothing. Deux, that's two in
Répétez
French.
après moi.
Les animaux.
Les
Les
animaux.
animaux.
Les animaux.
Animals. Trois, three. Les écoles.
Les
Les
écoles.
écoles. School. Quatre. Les professions.
Les
Les
professions.
professions.
Les
Professions.
professions.
5. Les sports. Les
Les
sports.
sports. Les
Sports.
sports.
6. Les jeux.
Les
Les
jeux.
jeux. Les
Les jeux.
jeux. Jeux means games. 7. Les
Les
voitures. Les
voitures. Les
voitures.
voitures.
Cars. 8. Le commerce. Le
Le
commerce.
commerce.
Trading. 9. La gare.
La
La
gare.
gare. Train
La
station.
gare.
10. Le bureau.
Le
Le
bureau.
bureau.
Le bureau.
Office. 11. Le cinéma.
Le
Le
cinéma.
cinéma.
Le
Cinéma.
cinéma.
12. L'aéroport.
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 Airports. 13. Le comptoir.
Le
Le
comptoir.
comptoir.
Le
Bar.
comptoir.
Bar. 14. 14.
Le
Le bateau.
bateau.
Le bateau.
Le
Boat.
bateau.
50. 15. 15. La route.
La route.
La route.
15 is 15.
Road.
La route. Route.
16. Le supermarché.
Le
Le
supermarché.
supermarché.
Répétez après moi.
Supermarket.
Repeat after me.
17. Le cafeteria.
le
Le
cafétéria,
cafeteria. Cafeteria. Some call it le restaurant. Le restaurant. Restaurant. 18. Le parc.
le
Le
parc,
parc. Parc. 19. Le concert. Le concert. 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 20. Les loisirs. Les loisirs. Les loisirs. Hobbies. Hobbies you do at your leisure time. Now, apart from that, we have the remaining 20. 21. 21. La santé.
la santé,
La santé.
la
Health.
santé, health,
22. Le
le
voyage. Le
voyage,
voyage.
bravo.
Travel.
Répétez après moi, repeat
23.
after me.
La politique.
La
La
politique,
politique.
la politique,
Politics. Le 24. L'agriculture.
l'agriculture,
L'agriculture.
l'agriculture,
Agriculture. 25. L'économie. L'économie. Economics.
l'économie,
26.
economics,
La météo.
la
La météo.
météo,
Weather forecasts.
weather forecast,
27. La culture. La culture. Culture. 28. L'entourage.
l'entourage,
L'entourage. Some people call it l'environnement.
l'entourage,
L'environnement. Anyone, it's correct. It means environment. 29. Le tourisme. Le tourisme. Tourism. 30. 30. La science. La science.
la
Science.
science,
31. L'éducation.
l'éducation,
L'éducation. Education. 32.
l'éducation,
La téléphone.
la
La téléphone.
téléphone,
Téléphone. 33. La radio.
la
La
radio,
radio. Radio. 34. L'argent. L'argent. Money. 35. L'interview. L'interview. Interview. 36. Les affaires étrangères. Les affaires étrangères. Foreign affairs. 37. La télévision. La télévision. Television. 38. La famille. La famille. Family. 39. L'amitié.
l'amitié,
L'amitié. Friendship.
l'amitié,
40. Le chantier. Le chantier. Building site. Now, these groups of words are the basis of our audios and video conversation, which we would be making available to you for you to download to use online on offline. So please, all these is we have actually listed all these out based on the analysis we did of the TEF Canada examination, especially the listening and the reading skill tests. So please, and please, once the audios are released and the videos, do please take them serious. Take them serious. And how will you do that? By listening to them, by memorizing them. Do you understand? Listening to them, memorizing them, and once you have any questions about them, ask on the group chat, please. It's very important. And as I always tell my students, use your money. It's very important. Use your money. You paid for this course. Pick out all these ways to learn the French culture and begin working on them now. The ones that you can actually make use of, the ways that you can actually overwhelm yourself, but take the ones that you feel that you are going to be comfortable with and start building the video lessons in this module. Now, the devoir, the assignment. Download the French planning exercise exercises. Speak French with your coach and partner. By now, you should have gotten your partner, either the one that you are being given by your coach or your TEF word groups, and send to the group. I want to listen to how you actually pronounce those words. Do you understand? Now, watch this lesson at all your assignments to the Facebook group and tag them with the appropriate hashtags. The setup plan, the TEF word groups, the sticky notes. Please do all these assignments and send them to the Facebook group. And thank you very much. And I do how to actually pronounce the French sounds just like the French people themselves. Do you understand how to pronounce it? And all other things that would make you speak like the French person in Paris. You understand the signs and the symbols that are used in the French language, and also how to combine the sounds in words. You understand, in a way that you are going to speak like the French person himself. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions on this lesson, please ask on the Facebook group. The Facebook group was actually developed to answer your questions. Do you understand? Thank you very much. And I do hope to see you in the next video.
Ok, d'accord. On a déjà fini avec le leçon, ce leçon d'aujourd'hui. We are already done with today's lesson. Um, mais je voudrais demander les questions, but I would like to actually ask you questions. Qu'est-ce que vous avez déjà appris dans cette classe? What have you already learned from this class? The class of comment d'établir votre vie pour la culture française. The class was titled or was based on how to set up your life for what? For French knowledge, for French culture. Ça, c'est le leçon numéro 5. That is the lesson 5. The lesson 5. On a déjà fait leçon numéro 1, numéro 2, 3. We have already done the first one, the first lesson, the third lesson et le 4, the fourth lesson. Aujourd'hui, on a fait leçon numéro 5. So today we are actually treating the number 5 lesson. Alors, est-ce que vous avez n'importe question pour moi par rapport à ce leçon? Do you have any questions as regards this lesson that we did today? Si vous n'avez pas une question, if you don't have any questions, il faut faire les exercices. It is important for you to do the exercises et soumettre vos exercices, vos devoirs sur le groupe WhatsApp, le groupe Facebook, désolé, le groupe privé en Facebook. So it's important for you to actually submit your assignments, submit all your assignments to the Facebook group. Je crois que tout le monde sont déjà sur le groupe de Facebook, non? I believe that everybody are already on the Facebook group already. Si vous n'êtes pas sur le groupe de Facebook, il faut encore utiliser ce lien pour en joindre ce groupe maintenant. If you are not yet on the Facebook group, you can make use of the link that I shared on the comment section to actually join the Facebook group right now. D'accord. À part de cela, la dernière classe, on a déjà combiné les candidats comme groupe, comme les partenaires. Et nous avons déjà 2 partenaires dans cette classe. So in the last class, we have already actually categorized. On a déjà catégorisé les candidats en deux partenaires. We have already categorized candidates in twos. You understand? Having two partners. Les partenaires en apprentissage de la langue française. These partners are partners that would actually help in the French learning. Nous avons le partenaire numéro un et le partenaire numéro 2. Le partenaire numéro un comprise Monsieur Olariwaju, oui, et Madame, euh, Madame, Madame quoi? Madame Edna, yes. Monsieur Olariwaju et Madame Edna. Et aussi, nous avons aussi Madame Oyeka et Monsieur Shinedu, n'est-ce pas? So, voici vos partenaires dans cette classe. Those are your partners in this class. Si vous savez bien, il faut contacter votre partenaire. If you know now, you can contact your partner sur le groupe WhatsApp. Sur notre groupe WhatsApp, you can contact your partners on our WhatsApp groups. Monsieur Olaiwaju et Madame Edna, voici une partenaire. Et Madame Onyeka Onuba, yes, Madame Onyeka Onuba et Monsieur Shinedu Kasmir, voici aussi une autre partenaire. That is another partnership that we have. Vos partenaires, ça vaut votre équipe pour apprendre la langue française ensemble et aussi faire les exercices et les devoirs ensemble. Now, your partners are meant to actually assist you to learn French and to also take the assignment or the exercises in the class together. D'accord? OK. Maintenant, si vous n'avez pas n'importe quelle question pour moi, on va essayer de traiter les sons français. If we don't have any questions, we can try to actually take the French sounds. Mais je dois avoir les candidats dans cette classe. I must actually have, you understand, students in this class, les étudiants dans cette classe pour répéter les sons après moi. So I must have students that are in the class physically so that they can respond to my what they call it, or they can repeat my pronunciations. You understand? They can repeat my pronunciations with me. D'accord? Alors, si vous êtes en classe, dites-moi, utilisez vos audios. Make use of your audio. If you are in class, make use of your audio to respond to me or to, you understand? Let me know that you are in class. Nous avons beaucoup de sons en français. We have different sounds in French language. Et vos sons, c'est très important à savoir la manière de prononciation. It's very important that you know how to pronounce these French sounds very well. You understand? Ok, j'attends les candidats, j'attends l'audio de candidat. I am waiting for the audio to listen or to hear people talk. If not, s'il n'y a pas les étudiants dans la classe, on doit traiter les sons, par exemple, la classe prochaine. If we don't have students in this class right now to pronounce with me, then maybe we would actually have the French sounds in the next class. On va traiter les sons français dans la classe prochaine. We're going to have the sounds in the next class. Mais avant de sortir la classe, before we leave the class, je vais prononcer ces sons, ces sons facilement. I'm going to pronounce the sounds easily, and maybe perhaps on peut, le candidat um, va prononcer les sons ensemble d'ailleurs. So perhaps maybe you can pronounce the sounds at tout à l'heure at a later time. Okay. L'alphabet phonétique international pour le français. Now we have the international phonetic sounds on the international phonetic alphabet for French. Just like we have A, B, C, D in English, nous avons A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Now, I'm fast with that. Let's say I'm teaching. Peut-être si j'ai enseigné les enfants maintenant, on peut utiliser la musique pour apprendre la langue française. Let's say I was teaching students now, or how do I call it, children. I could have been making use of songs, poems, you understand, to actually learn the French language or teach the French language. But now we don't have children, we have adults. D'accord? So, je vais prononcer le son. You understand? I'm going to pronounce, je vais épeler le son aussi. I'm going to pronounce and, you understand, spell those words. Et il faut répéter après moi. And it's important you repeat after me. So, numéro 1. Le son numéro 1, the sound number 1, we have A. Répétez après moi. A. A. A comme pat. Now, si je dis comme in French means as in English. So if I say A comme pat, si je dis A comme pat, ça veut dire en anglais A as in pat. D'accord? So if I say A comme pat, it means A as in pat. That is le son A, the sound A as in pat. Now, we have another sound. We have A. Ça, c'est le son A en langue. Le son A en longue prononciation. En longue prononciation. That is the sound A, but in a longer pronunciation. Ça, c'est le deuxième son. We have A compact and A compact. D'accord? That's the long form of the first A. Nous avons le son nasal aussi. Ça, c'est un. Un. Répétez après moi. Un. Un. Un comme ban. Un comme ban. Ça, c'est la combinaison de A et N. That is the combination of the sound A and the sound N. So, we have un comme ban. OK, d'accord? Nous avons aussi le son B. Répétez après moi. B. B. Répétez, repeat after me. B. B comme bleu. B. B comme bleu. That is the sound B. The sound B like blue, blue, blue. Nous avons le son O. Répétez après moi. O. O comme mort. O comme mort. O just like in mort. In mort. En. Répétez après moi. En. En, c'est un peu différent comme que un. Now, there's a difference between en and un. The first one, the A with the tilde on top of it is un. But for the bon, we have en. D'accord? En. En. Alors, la bouche est plus ouverte en prononciation de en. You understand? The mouth is more open when you are pronouncing the sound en. Like bon. Bon. D'accord? Maintenant, le son de. 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 De comme that. De as in that. That. De comme that. Le son E. Répétez après moi. Le son E. E comme été. Et comme été. E like in été, d'accord? E, maintenant, le son E. E comme le. Répétez après moi. E comme le. Maintenant, le son comme l'air. Répétez après moi. Comme l'air. L-A-I-T. L-A-I-T. That's L-A-I-T. Comme l'air. On ne prononce pas le T à la fin du mot. You're not going to pronounce the T at the end of the word. Le son répétez après moi. Le son comme fin, fin, fin. Le son F, the sound F comme fois. Répétez après moi. Fois. That is time. Fois. The F as in the word fois, which means time. Le son G. Répétez après moi. Le son G. G comme gare. 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 Le son G. The sound G like in gare. Le son hash, 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 hash comme up, hash comme up. En français, on ne sent pas le son. In French, we don't have the sound like in happy in English. No, we don't have in French. So the H, c'est un peu silence en prononciation. So for the H letter, it is actually silent in pronunciation. Maintenant, le son I. Le son I comme il. Répétez après moi. Le son I comme il. The I in il. I. Le son Y. Répétez après moi. Y. Y comme aïe. 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 Le son K. Le son K in comme kilo. Répétez après moi. Kilo. Le son K comme kilo. The K as in kilo. Le son L. L. L comme litre. Litre. Répétez après moi. Litre. Litre. In liter. Le son M comme mère. 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 Le son N comme N. 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 Ne, just like ne pas, the not word. Le son ñ, répétez après moi, ñ, 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 comme un yo. Très bien. Le son comme bung, or like shopping. Le son O, répétez après moi. O, comme beau. Le son E, 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 E comme peu, peu, peu. Non, le son comme peur. C'est un peu compliqué. E. It's a little bit complicated. La différence entre E, O et heure. The difference between O, E and heure. Voici l'introduction. This is still introduction. Quand on déjà commence avec le module 2, when we start with module 2, on va expliquer mieux les sons français. We are going to explain better the French sounds avec beaucoup d'exemples. You understand? Lots of examples. D'accord? Ok. Heure, comme peur, une peur. Le son un, un, comme brun, d'accord? Brun. Le son comme père. Répétez, le son comme père. Le son R, the sound R. R, répétez après moi, R. Repeat after me, R. Like in the sound rue, in the word rue. Le son S, the sound S, comme soul, as in the word soul. Le son sh, comme chien, comme chien. Dans la dernière classe, on a dit que il n'y a pas le son ch comme dans la langue française. In the last class, we said there is no sound like ch, like in church, like in church. We don't have that sound in French. You understand? We don't have that sound in French. That's why when I was explaining, quand j'ai expliqué le nom Chinedu, when I was explaining the noun, the name Chinedu, I said people will be wondering, why am I saying Chinedu? Chinedu. La raison que on ne pas le son ch en français is because we don't have the word ch in French. So instead of saying Chinedu, you understand? We said dans la classe précédente, in the last class, we said Shinedu. Shinedu, because of the word sh. Anytime we have CH, anytime we have CH, you understand? In French, it is pronounced as sh. D'accord? Sh. Ok, d'accord. Numéro, le son t, t, the sound T, comme terre. In the word terre. Le son ou, comme sous, the sound ou, like in sous. Le son u, u, comme nuit, nuit, nuit. We say bonne nuit, bonne nuit, bonne nuit, good night. You understand? That's the sound they use. Le son v, v, comme vent, 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 like in vent, vent. You understand? Which is vent in English. Le son wo, 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 like in we. You understand? Which means yes. Now X, X. I think they made a mistake there. X is not y, it's not Utah, it's not Utah. You understand? It's X or X, just like in examen or excellent. You understand? X is like X examen. That is GZ, Gz. You understand? Or sometimes X also is pronounced as X, like excellent, excellent. Très bien. D'accord? Now we have you. We have you, like in Rio, the Y. You, like in Rio, which means road. Now we have zero, like comme le son Z, comme zéro. And we have J, like in je, like in je m'appelle, I am called, or my name is. D'accord, on a déjà fini avec l'alphabet phonétique international pour le français. So we are done with the international phonetic alphabet for the what? For the French language. D'accord, est-ce qu'il n'y a pas n'importe question pour moi? So, okay, do we have any questions for me today? D'accord, s'il n'y a pas n'importe question, il faut pratiquer l'alphabet phonétique international pour le français pour votre devoir. So, for your assignment, we just said practice the alphabet, the international phonetic alphabet for the French language. Pratiquer la prononciation de ces sons. You understand? Practice the pronunciation of these sounds very well. Et on va commencer à la classe prochaine. And we are going to continue. On va continuer à la classe prochaine. We are going to continue with in our next class. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much et à tout à l'heure. And have a nice time. Au revoir. À tout à l'heure. Au revoir. Bye bye and see you later. Merci beaucoup.